Hey, Carson Cougs, this is Michelle, and I'm here to talk to you about the Amplifier program. The Amplifier program is a career readiness program designed for you as a playbook to help you have experiences and learn about the business world, and also really starting to learn what the career competencies are. The career competencies are kind of your soft skills or your transferable skills that you can take with you that really set you apart because you're already going to have technical skills from getting your major. So we wanted to make sure that you as a holistic student have everything that you need to success in the business world. When we think about this career readiness program, this is a four-tiered approach to really having engaged learning and experiential learning. And so keep that in mind as we go through the program. To find out more about the program, if you forget, you can always go to our website. Our website is on the main page, the business.wsu.edu, and then you would click to the Carson Center for Student Success and go to the Career Amplifier. Once you're at the Career Amplifier, you will see here that there is a button that you can email us if you have additional questions after watching all the help videos and looking through the entirety of this website. We've tried really hard to make it so that you could be an independent learner and take advantage of everything that we have to offer. Right here, there is a video that is an overview video. You're also going to be getting a little bit of that from me with some specific examples that may be helpful. The National Association of Colleges and Employers have determined a set of career readiness competencies. And for the purposes of the Amplifier program, we are concentrating on career and self-development, communication, leadership, professionalism, and within professionalism, equity and inclusion. In addition to the NACE career readiness competencies, we know that you're students and we need to help you be really successful students. And so we've added the NACADA student success and retention. And so student success is another one of our competencies. When we look at this program, there are two different programs, and you might hear about both. But if you came in as a freshman or students with less than 30 credits, you would be a tiered student. If you are a student with 30 or more credits, then you are a Crimson Pathway student. Today, we're going to talk about the tiered students. There is another video for Crimson Pathway. So if you have watched the wrong video or you've gotten to the wrong video, you can go ahead and click out of this and go into the correct video. So in tier one, this is where you're exploring your world. You've indicated that you're interested in business. And so we want to help you just kind of get your toes wet with learning about the business world. But we also want to make sure that you have some success as a student. How do we do that? Well, for the Collegiate Foundations badge, you will go to one orientation event, which is called the Carson Launch. And then you go to two resource workshops. One of those resource workshops can be with the ASCC, and it's a virtual. Another one of those workshops is done specifically for you by our advisors. They have created what they know our Carson College of Business students need in order to succeed. And so they've created a specialized resource workshop for you. The next badge is your community badge, because research has shown that if you find your community within that first year, you're not only going to do better in school, but you'll stay in school a lot longer. This can look a lot of different ways, and depending on what campus you're on too. So here on Pullman campus, it can be that you're part of the marching band, or you're in intramural sports, or perhaps you're in camp or EDGE. It could also be cultural clubs. You could be a part of your dorm group. You could, on other campuses, there's a lot of opportunity as well, but maybe you're just an active member of your church group, or you're a active member of the Humane Society. So a lot of those could also be your community. For the Discovery Badge, this is where we kind of get your feet wet with business. And so we say attend one professional development related event or business focused activity. So what is that? Really, that is like an info session where a really good example of this is when Boeing comes, they come in and they do an info session where you just sit and listen about the Boeing company and what it's like to be in the aerospace industry. The next thing that you would do is complete 2 business-focused 100-level trainings. An example of this would be, we're actually teaching you a written communication basics course, and that is going to really help you understand how to write a complete, clear, concise email. And it's really going to set you apart because it will get you starting to think like a business person and be strategic. And so we want you to start that kind of thought process very early on. Once you complete tier 1, that's about the time that you're going to be applying to the college. When you apply to the college, this means that you kind of decided what area of business that you would like to go, and you've usually completed BA 102. So for tier 1 students, yet you need to think about completing it in that same semester that you do BA 102. So here you can see the admission deadlines. For BA 102, if you take it in the spring, the deadline's May 1st. In the summer, August 1st. In the fall, December 15th. There's also capstone deadlines, and this means that you actually have to complete 2 of your tiers by the time that you apply or register for your capstone class. Your capstone class is one of the culminating classes, so it's going to come towards the end of your college time. And so you want to make sure, I would say probably you want to have at least tier 3 done. However, as a minimum baseline, tier 2. And then for graduation, you want to complete the entirety of the 4-tiered program by the last day of finals week. So remember, we talked about how you're exploring your world. Well, once you get admitted to the college, this is where you're starting to chart your path. You know your major, maybe you're double majoring, and maybe you're getting a minor, but you have kind of a path in which you're following. We want you to dig in a little bit more exploration as far as the world of business. And so you're going to complete at least 2 career or professional development activities. You're going to do 1 higher involvement activity. This can look many different ways. You could do a micro internship. You could do an industry trek. You could become a business club member. You could be an active member of our business mentor program. Then we want you to complete 2 building your market value activities. Building your market value is not only understanding what you have to offer, but also what's valuable for employers. And so looking at, yes, you're going to have a degree, so are all the other applicants going to have a degree. What other specialty type of things might be important for you to build your market value for that employer? So an example of this would be, perhaps you know C++ programming language, but you don't know Python. And it looks like the company that you would like to work for really prefers Python. It would then behoove you to go ahead and learn about Python. So that would be increasing your market value in that space. For learning, the next batch is learning to network. So learning to network is something that it's not easy. It comes easy to some people, and to others it doesn't. And so for right now, the main trick here is going to be learning some tricks of the trade and learning what your style of networking is. And so we're going to provide you lots of opportunities where you can have a low risk opportunity to try out your networking skills. The last but not least is the collegiate proficiency badge. So you've indicated that you're interested in a specific area of study. Now's the time to get to know the faculty of that area of study. So again, let's take that management information systems example. If you are really interested in programming, then you could go to one of the faculty members and say, I feel really confident in C++. This is what I would ultimately like to do. What other classes do you think would be helpful? And so they can really help and suggest what might be helpful to you or just even interesting. They're fascinating people. And remember, They're people just like you and I. The other part of the collegiate proficiency is the 200 level business focused trainings. This is kind of the next tiered approach. And so the first example I gave you was written communication basics. Well, this one is the 7 C's to professional writing. So it takes it just a step further because writing is very different in business as opposed to academic writing or essay writing. All right, then you're moving right on to tier 3. And here you're expanding your assets. And so you really want to be thinking about study abroad. If you want to study abroad, you should actually think about it right away and get in to talk to Courtney Ann Jackson, who is our study abroad coordinator, because she knows everything there is about study abroad, and I highly recommend it. All right, so in tier 3, we have creating your brand. So remember in tier 1, you understood how to get your market value higher for employers to look at you. Well, then you want to figure out, well, how do you create your brand? So you really want to assess and articulate your skills and experiences to potential employers. And so that's really building your own personal brand. Equity inclusion is in tier 3 because this is where we're really learning to demonstrate that awareness, attitude, knowledge, and skill required to equitably engage and include people from different local and global cultures. Connecting your network, we give you 2 opportunities, or actually we give you tons of opportunities, but we only require 2. I would always encourage you go to more than you need because the more practice you get, the better you get. It's that old adage, practice makes perfect. And so here you are building your network. You're really starting to connect with them and you're starting to show who you are and kind of get your name known and out there. Develop and lead at this point comes in from the leadership. And this is where you are not only developing your own leadership skills, but you're being a leader also means being able in a group to identify other people's skills and really helping them engage in those skills for a common goal. And so there's so much to leadership. It can also be about followership. And what does that look like? Is that okay? And do you have to have a title to be a leader? And how can you be a leader without a title? And so things are like that are something that we're definitely going to help you engage in. By tier 4, this is when you are becoming a Carson professional. So you're kind of transitioning from being a Carson College of Business student to a Carson professional. So it's very easy while we're in college to have a prescribed list of classes that you have to take in order to get your major. You have some electives, but really it's fairly prescribed. When you get out into the world and into your profession, the learning doesn't stop. You are going to be a continual learner. And so you want to be really strategic with that. If you have the end game that you want to become a CFO or a chief financial officer, and you are getting an accounting degree, you may want to plan for sitting for your CPA exam, and you want to create a professional development plan to get there. If you can, even within that professional development plan, it helps you scope and decide which job positions are going to get you to your end game goal. And so it really helps you be strategic with your time and your learning post-college. Distinction is a badge where we want you to take your technical skills that you're getting in your major and your transferable skills or career competency skills, or you could call them your career readiness skills, putting them together in direct application. What does this look like? Well, it can look like a lot of different things. It could be an internship. You could go study abroad. You could do an international internship. Doesn't that sound exciting? You could also do a workplace project. Let's say that you're right now an assistant accountant or an accounting assistant, and you want to become an accountant. Well, there's probably a workplace project that you could do within your accounting department that would take everything that we're trying to accomplish within an internship within just one simple project. And there's a lot of different, there's a link there for you right here to click on to learn more about it. I have another video and I explain it in detail. The Career Essentials badge is a badge that is really set up to help you in living on your own. And so when students graduate, all of a sudden you're going to be making money. That sounds super exciting. However, you're also going to have student loans if you've had to deal with those. You're also going to have to think about a budget, maybe think about renter's insurance. So there's a lot of life skills that we want to help you with, or at least give you some background so that when you're out there having to navigate it on your own, that you feel confident in doing so. Some things like, understanding what insurance is and co-insurance and, medical, short-term, long-term, all of those different kinds of things that they give you in those first few days of HR. How much are you going to put in your 401k? All of those kinds of things. We want to help you with that so that you have the time, energy, and mental capacity to really focus in on your job when you're working. All right, so we're still looking for a job at this point, right? So if you don't have a job, we still want you to be networking. And even if you have a job offer and you can submit that for these requirements, I would encourage networking anyway. A, it's really great practice. B, you meet people who you will get in contact with later in your career and they'll remember it. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the Pay It Forward badge. This really comes from that Cougs spirit of giving back. So Cougs help Cougs. By now, as a senior, Cougs help Cougs, and we want you to be a part of that world. So one of the ways that you're going to help us is to report your post-graduation plans. There's a couple of reasons that we, want this information. A, we really want to know, how did it go for you? Do you need any more help? Because our career team will actually help you even post-graduation for up to 6 months. And so that's out there. We want to know, do you need some more help? But it also helps us be able to articulate what our placement rates are. So how many students that wanted a job actually got a job for our recruiting purposes. Completing 2 exit surveys. So the 2 surveys are really, it's kind of a review of your technical skills that you learned in your 4 years while you were here, and then also your career readiness skills or your transferable skills. And then last, but certainly not least, find a way to give back to the Coug community. This could look in, oh my gosh, there's so many different ways that you can do this. You could give advice to an incoming student. You could become an ambassador. You could be a tutor. You could be the leader of a club. You could put on a workshop. There's just an infinite number of opportunities. If you're a full-time employed individual and you're taking classes, well, let's say that you were a plant floor manager in a manufacturing plant. We had a student like that, and he said, I just don't know what I'm going to do for this. I said, well, how would it feel if you could articulate to human resource students how important the relationship is between human resources and the plant floor manager? And he said, oh my gosh, that's exactly, that would be great. And I said, perfect. I go do that. So he actually came into one of our human resource courses and he shared exactly that. And that was his giving back to the Coug community. So think outside the box. It doesn't have to be one way or this way or that way. And if you're having a hard time figuring out what to do, reach out to us and we're here to help. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do we keep track of all of these things? Well, we have what's called Suitable. On the Suitable website, you can log in and then you'll come to the dashboard. Now, this dashboard has both tiers and Crimson Pathway. If you're a tier student, you're only going to see the tiers blocks here. You'll only have these 4, tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what you can do is click into it, and then it tells you what you need to accomplish. So in tier 1, you have the 3 badges, just like we talked about on the website. And so if you go into it, it gives you several different options. So I want to talk a little bit about, okay, so let's say that you did join a fraternity or a sorority, which often happens for us. Then what you will do is, it says here, join Greek life through recruitment and becoming a member of the chapter. And then for credit, very important, submit appropriate documentation to prove membership. So oftentimes we get screenshots of your name and the fraternity or sorority, and that would work. That basically that it shows that you are an active member. And so you can just upload it here and then you're done. And you would add your description by saying, you know, I am a member of Kappa Delta or whatever it might be. It's that easy. Now, one of the other things that we have is, for example, if you go to attend a club meeting, so we have attend a club meeting, and here it says, for credit, submit Form A. So it's linked here, so you can go right there. But let's say that this didn't work for some reason. You could go back to the web page, and at the top, we have all of the forms available for you. So you would click into Form A, you would fill it all out. Now here's the trick. You are not going to download it. You are going to print to a PDF, because printing it to a PDF prints exactly what you have on the page. If you download it, then it's going to just download the form, not what you put in the form. That's a trick. Lots of people have done it. It's a pain. All right. And then you would simply choose it from your file and then upload it. Then what happens is it comes to us and we review it, and then we approve it or we deny it. Sometimes we will deny it because maybe you used the wrong form, or maybe you didn't give us enough information. We read every single one of these. And so often we will, send it back to say, look, you're almost there, but here's something we need from you. Like, think through it in more depth. So you can't we just want your best work. Let's put it that way. All right. So with that, we have learned how to navigate the website. There are also the help videos that are on the Amplifier website. There are lots of notes, and the forms are there for you. We also have Suitable. Now, I want to encourage you to turn on your notifications in Suitable, because we're going to do some giveaways throughout the year, and we're just going to put a notification out, and basically if you come first serve, you get the prizes. Now, it also, on an event that is a unique event, or an event that a lot of you need, we can actually send you a notification to say, hey, we have an equity and inclusion event happening tonight at 5 p.m. And we also noticed that you need this event for the Amplifier program. And so we can give targeted messaging to you through that venue. So make sure that you turn on your notifications. All right, with that, you guys, this is your opportunity to really set yourself apart with experiences that you can then talk about to employers. You can build your career readiness skills, and you can really learn to articulate exactly all the wonderful things about you that you can offer to an employer. With that, I want to say, get engaged, good luck. Welcome to the Carson College Business, and go Cougs.